Yeah, I mean, I think the success of the season was something that we didn't talk about the end goal. We talked about every single day last year and what was next. And when you look back at the whole thing as a whole, to have gone undefeated in the ODAC regular season, I know at Roanoke College, I don't think it had been done since maybe the 2002 season. I'm not sure how many teams had done it before or between those two periods. It's a special thing. I mean, a regular season championship in terms of winning it at least undefeated with just a draw. It was a special kind of group that we had and the way that they went about it, especially in as challenging a league as the ODAC is. Goals for our program don't change too dramatically year to year. It's essentially process goals that include getting better every day. I know it's cliche coaches speak in a way, but trying to improve to be the best group that we can each day, and then see how good we can get. And so essentially that's been the same thing throughout preseason. We do feel like we have a lot of pieces to the puzzle, but putting them together every single day, and then obviously when the games start, seeing how they react is the fun part, is the challenging part, and kind of is the way that we've been going about things throughout this preseason. We're excited to get started. We're excited for our opening match Tuesday against Ferrum. We're excited to get our non-conference schedule started, and then obviously into the ODAC as well. But essentially, we're just kind of a day-by-day type of group, and we're excited to get moving forward. The thing that I think about those guys, a lot of those guys as well, upperclassmen, in terms of the all-conference guys, in Cole Sinclair, Dio Beck, Ty Carbaugh, Rob Lentini on the second team. So you got some upperclassmen there, some seniors that have experience, obviously have shown their capabilities and their abilities in the league to be recognized as all-conference, but also have now, 2 regular season ODAC championships under their belt, as well as a tournament championship from 2012. So there's experience in terms of their ability to be a part of team success, and I think that's something that we talk about a lot, and something that I think those guys really bring to the table. All of them hard workers. The work rate is tremendous of those guys. I think that's essentially one of the keys to their careers as of now, to how they've been successful throughout it, is working hard as freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and just getting better and better every single year. So the group of those 4 that I mentioned, and then I think Sam Ralph was recognized last year as well, a freshman from down in Cary, North Carolina, center back, played pretty much every minute of every game. Unfortunately, took an injury in the Lynchburg ODAC championship game, and so I know he's back and motivated as well. It's a good group of returning guys, I guess kind of highlighted by those guys, but certainly not the only ones that we have returning. We have a lot of guys, I think, that are all going to chip in, and it would be hard for me to even name names at this point, but there's more than a handful, probably more than 2 handfuls of guys in this program that are chomping at the bit to push for opportunities on the field, and I have a lot of trust in terms of the way they've gone about their off seasons and getting better all the time, that I think we'll all chip in, specifically incoming freshmen, but also returning guys that have made contributions to the program, and I think those contributions will be necessary. It will be necessary for them to get bigger, and I think they'll do it. Yeah, I guess I got interviewed when I first got the job 2 years ago, and I made the point that I thought there was a lot of parity in the league, maybe even more so than when I was a player, back in the early 2000s, and that has in turn been fact. I found that to be fact. I mean, I think from top to bottom, just a strong conference that really any team can get any other team on a given day. Again, I do think that's a piece to why I thought our group last year was, what we were able to do was a pretty special thing in terms of undefeated in the league, because there are so many good teams, there's so many good players, and there's a ton of good coaches as well. Everybody's working and grinding and recruiting, and it's a very competitive league. So it's fun to be a part of that. You want to be challenged every day. You want to see how good you can get your group, and the only way to do that is against other teams. But a 12-team league where you got 11 conference games, and they start to roll on each other Wednesday, Saturday. It is a challenging league, and it is something that they can grind on guys. And ultimately, the team that grabs the top seed, I think, is maybe the team that can stay a little bit lucky in terms of injuries, but also essentially take that grind in stride and find their way through it. It's funny because it is such a big region that just in terms of facilities and weather, we play probably in the most diverse region. I don't know, maybe exception of the Midwest in a way, but one of the most diverse regions in the country. So when I say that, we're playing talented teams, or having to compete with talented teams up in New Jersey, where come late fall you're bound to be playing in icy, rainy, poor condition games. Teams that are built to win in those type of games as well. And then, like last year we traveled down to Barry. You can go all the way down south into Tennessee, as you mentioned, Georgia. Teams down there where, to win and be successful, you got to be able to deal with 95, 100-degree heat on a weekend afternoon. So it could change the style of play or the pace of the play in a certain game. So I think it's unique that way, the region that we play in. A lot of talented teams, a lot of different types of teams, a lot of different types of style, and I would say it's a region that can't really be characterized by one certain style of play, whereas maybe, again, in the Northeast or out in California, some other of the regions may have a little bit more of a specific way of play, and from that I think it's challenging.